Hi, this is Janice Corrales from Corrales Law Group, and we wanted to make a new video on deferred action for early childhood arrivals because it's been a whole year since the process has been out, and kind of, just as a celebration of it or to commemorate it in a way, we wanted to make a video that addresses trends and things that we have seen because we've been doing it for over a year. And so far, knock on wood, our approval rate is at 100%, so we're very happy about that, and we want to give any information we can, especially about trends and any kind of updates. We've been meaning to make this video for a month now. We wanted to do it like August 15th, but the office has been really busy with a lot of courts lately. And that's a good reminder to do your deferred action if you qualify, because you don't want to end up in court. So yeah, so trends or updates. One of the #1 updates would be that the 821D form, which is the main form for deferred action, has been updated. It's still called the 821D, and it's still very similar, but it's a new version of it, and USCIS has said that they will no longer take the old one. So if you got your form and you got it earlier in the year or last year at the convention center, at a workshop, you downloaded it online, whatever, make sure that you have the new version. So go to the uscis.gov website and make sure you have the new version. If you send in the old one, it's going to be sent back to you. You're going to lose your work. So make sure you use the new form. It's there online, and it's simpler, it's clearer, and there are new instructions that are also more clear. So you can download those too or look over those too if you want to. They're trying to simplify, so that's good. So we like the new form. Another trend is that the California Service Center out here, at least, was getting a lot of applications, more so than any place else, and it was being a little bit overwhelmed. So they started sending them off to other service centers to kind of spread out the work so that they weren't overwhelmed. So starting in January, we started receiving transfer letters where people's cases were being transferred to other service centers. So if you get one of these letters where your case is being sent to Nebraska or Texas or somewhere else, completely normal, do not freak out. It has nothing to do with your application in particular, just that the California Service Center has a lot of applications and they're sending them elsewhere so they can be processed faster. And they don't have to wait in a big long line so they can get to the head of the application line, right? So yeah, so that's normal. As far as processing times go, when they started getting sent to Nebraska, because they had smaller volume at first, they started going fast again. At the very beginning of deferred action, we were getting responses in 2 weeks. That was wonderful. Then it started getting a little bit longer, and when it started being sent to Nebraska, it's gone down now again. 2 to 3 months is our average, but again, it's completely normal for a case to take 6 months. That's what USCIS has said. And some take a little bit longer than 6 months. And again, there's no need to panic. You can always check with your receipt on the USCIS website. If it says initial review, everything's okay. If it says request for evidence sent and you haven't received it, call them immediately because they asked you for more evidence. You want to make sure you get that request and then you send in your evidence, or else it could be denied if you don't do it on time. So if you ever see a request for more evidence and you don't have it, call them. But aside from that, it's normal for everything to take a long time. If it does, 6 months is normal. And if your case is complicated, then it's particularly normal for it to take longer because, supervisors might have to look at it, or if it's a circumstance they haven't decided how to rule on or what they're going to do with it, they might need an agency-wide review and things of that sort. So if your case is complicated or different than other people's or has more nuances, normal for it to take longer. So just wanted to let you know that because that's a question we get a lot from people who've done their applications in other places and they want to know, did their lawyer mess up? No, it's not that. It's just, it's normal for it to take a while. There's a long line of people. So many people have applied. There have been over 400,000 approvals at this moment, but there are still a lot of pending cases. There's, I believe, over 100,000 right now that are still pending. So it's normal. Okay, another area, one of my favorite areas, is the crimes and immigration part. And we've stayed away from getting into crimes just because it's a really complicated area and it could have serious consequences. So we want anyone that has any kind of criminal history to consult with a lawyer. And that stands. I just really wanted to address gang affiliation because someone who could be in the circumstance might not have a criminal history, might not even think they have a criminal history, but it's really serious. It could be a lot more serious than any other crimes. So when anyone walks into my office, I never say, have you ever been arrested? I say, have you ever had any contact with the police? And if so, have you ever been asked if you're affiliated with a gang or are you in a gang? And did they take down your information? And this is really important because there are gang databases, and police officers often put people in there without the person even knowing and without telling you, and there's no way for us to check or even you to check. So if you have any possibility of possibly being in this gang registry, you really want to see a lawyer and you want to tell them, and you have to be honest. Because if you are in there and they find that you have some kind of gang affiliations, or they even think you do because you're in this database, you could be found to be a public threat. And those are the circumstances that USCIS has said that they could not only deny your application, but they could put you in removal proceedings, which could result in your deportation. So we never want anyone to be excited about getting a work permit and instead end up deported. So it's really important if you have any kind of that history that you make sure you see a lawyer and you tell them about it. We haven't sent in any that have any kind of risk of gang affiliations, just because we don't ever want to put our clients in that kind of circumstance. And I don't know of anyone who has sent them in either, because again, we don't want anyone to end up deported instead of receiving their work permit. On the brighter side of things, some crimes that you think might bar you might not bar you. So you want to see a lawyer in that kind of circumstance. From the beginning, when it came to burglary in California, some categories of burglary we knew didn't count as burglary for federal crimes. So we've sent those in, and those have been fine. But again, you don't want to do this on your own. You want to see a lawyer and have them check over your stuff to make sure, to see if they could fit you in an exception, and send in your application even though you don't think you qualify. So again, don't do it by yourself. Go see a lawyer. It's really important. Or call us, or call somebody. I answer questions on the phone all the time. You don't have to come in person. If you do want to come in, our consultations are free. You could come sit down and talk to me about your case, and we can talk about it, or you can call and I will answer your questions if I'm able to, or direct you, the best I can. Also, email. You guys can email us questions. We receive a lot of emails, and if we see a question popping up a lot, we try to do these videos to address them. So we do appreciate questions, and we're here to help you. So again, anything you need or any kind of questions you have, feel free to talk to us. Okay, thank you.